Can Alien X actually beat almost every fictional character? Because depending on who you ask, he's either completely unbeatable, or he loses to anyone fast enough. And honestly, both sides are wrong. So instead of just saying he wins or he loses, I'm gonna break this down in parts, so you can actually understand how strong he really is. First, you need to understand what Alien X actually is. He's not just another transformation. He's a celestial sapien, a species that exists on a completely different level compared to everything else in Ben 10. They don't just fight using strength or speed. They can manipulate reality itself. Time, space, existence, those aren't limits to them. They're things they can change, which is why, at first glance, Alien X looks completely unbeatable.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, Team Alien X!
But here's the part people either ignore or don't fully understand. Alien X isn't controlled by one mind. Inside him are multiple personalities, and every single action requires agreement, which means something as simple as moving needs a decision, and if that decision doesn't happen, nothing happens.
Hello?
No attack, no defense, no reaction, just nothing. And this is exactly why some people say he loses easily. And this is where the arguments start. Because if you only look at that weakness, then yeah, Alien X looks useless, but that's also not the full picture. Because later on, things change. And if you ignore that part, you're lowballing him.
Alien X! It is real!
In Ben 10, Omniverse, Ben actually figures out how to work around this problem.
But the next time the universe and everything in it is destroyed, don't come crying to me.
Yeah, whatever.
He doesn't completely remove it, but he gets to a point where he can act much more freely. He's no longer stuck in endless arguments for every small action, which means Alien X goes from being completely unreliable
You can't just stuff him in the trunk.
to actually usable in a fight. And that changes everything, because now, you're not dealing with a frozen character anymore. You're dealing with someone who can actually use that level of power. And this is the part where Alien X becomes genuinely scary. Because if he acts, he doesn't fight like other characters. He doesn't rely on speed. He doesn't rely on strength. He can literally change the outcome itself. Which means most characters don't even get the chance to fight back. And if you're saying he loses in that situation, you're probably underrating what he can actually do. But even with that control, there's still a limitation. Because Alien X isn't consistently at that level. He's not always acting instantly. He's not always reacting first. And against fast, aggressive characters, that matters. A lot.
Yeah, whatever.
Which is why matchups like Goku are so debated. Because it depends on timing, not just power.
Transformation 10 now available.
So how many characters could Alien X actually beat? Realistically, probably most, but not all. Because his biggest weakness isn't power. It's the condition required to use it. If he gets control early, he wins. If he doesn't, he might not even get the chance to try. And that's something most people don't take into account. That's why Alien X is one of the hardest characters to scale. Because he doesn't sit at one level. He swings between being completely unstoppable and completely useless. And depending on the situation, either one can be true. Comment your opinion in the comments. Would Alien X beat Goku? And see you guys in the next video.
Yeah, whatever.